Okay, everybody, we're outside of the camper here, and it's a 22-foot, classified as 22-foot bumper pull. So we stripped it to the frame. As we rebuilt it, we put on new 30-pound bottles, battery back here. This here is just the electrical box for the junction box coming from the truck back into here and then going into the trailer. So, we installed, as we did it, we decided to put lights at the front edge for the propane hookups at night. And you'll see different ones as we go around. We also put some little stick-on levelers on there, just to help with when you're doing our setup. The name, Habaru Suka. Sam, why don't you give me a hand with that, even though I know you're running the camera.
The name Habaru, well actually the whole name Habaru Suka, God blessed Barney with that idea for a name, and then he blessed me with a design on what to come up with, and then we sent our ideas to a shop in town, and then they built the logo for us the way we asked them to. So Habaru means without land, and Suka means a temporary dwelling, and the wheat sheaf is a representation of God's people. So when you're camping, you're generally without land and you're staying in a temporary dwelling, and so that's shelter, yeah. A temporary shelter. So that's the name, that's what it means.
So the camper came with fiberglass on it, a fiberglass skin, and we vouched to go with tin on it because we were building it ourselves. So the camper build itself, you'll see some pictures where we have our cargo trailer open full of milled wood. So the frame structure on the base is 2-inch by 2-inch studs. The whole floor is designed with that, and we added in I think I put in 2 extra runs of studs full length. Underneath that, we have galvanized sheet metal for the very base. So right off the trailer frame, there's galvanized sheet metal. I got 4x8 sheets of that. Then we put the 2x2s down, insulated between those. They're screwed and glued together or nailed. And then we have 3/4-inch tongue and groove plywood glued again onto the top of that. It's very, very rigid. The walls are 2-inch studs. The walls are 2 inches thick and they're 1 inch wide and on 16-inch centers. So we saved the original cubbies from the other trailer. We felt that that was the best design. They were in good shape and everything. Of course, we put on all new holders. Everything on the outside went on new. Sandy can come around. I'll turn the light on in here, right there. It helps you to see. There's another light from the other side. Again, there's 2-inch insulation in the floor, which is R8.47. This wall back here, the top and the front wall are 8.47. So yes, cool can get in here through the door a bit, but it is contained from getting into the bedroom a lot better. It's actually got 2 layers to try and get through. It can get through the doors a little bit thinner, but it keeps it plenty warm. I believe it's a 14-foot awning that was on it. We have your house windows, and we bought these right from the window shop, and then we changed the screen out of them. We took out the mosquito screen and we put in no-seam screen, and that is a blessing in bug season. Okay, we kept the same RV door. That's just worked out the way it was. It was in fine shape. It's got the screen door on it, and again we put the no-seam screen onto that, so that worked out really well. Outside light, new, it's just ran inside there from a little light switch. Again, we put a leveler here by the door. We had new fender wells built. They were really super thin tin when we took it apart. So I had new ones built out of much heavier galvanized steel. The black is a leak-proof water seal. The furnace shop guys who bent them for me told me to put on. It's tremendously good, they said. And that's where you see blotches of black in there and whatever, but it's just sealer. They're sealed completely shut. Again, house window, we put 110 outlet on the outside in case, you know, we want to plug something in out here when we're camped somewhere. We vouched to put mud flaps on it. Keep the jacks cleaner and for when we're parked. This little guy is just basically storage. Our hot water heater compartment is right here, and we insulated this wall. This does not have 8.47 here. It's probably about our 4.5, 5. But we insulated each side and the top again. This goes up into a closet. This one would go underneath the couch in the inside. But again, all walls are insulated. Keep our leveler blocks in here and gloves for doing the sewer when you're dumping your tanks and little garbage can. So that little cubby, again, is all sealed just to keep it nice and warm. The hot water heaters is right here. It's just your standard hot water heater off the RV. Okay, again our name, all new lights we put on it, another leveler back here, spare tire, and we put a new cover on it. Inside the bumper, from this side, we put the sewer hose in. And one thing I always noticed in even some of our old RVs, these things will fall out going down the road, and then you wind up losing your sewer pipe. It starts wiggling out and you don't even notice it comes right out of there. So I took and thought there's got to be a way to fix that up a little bit. A little frozen right now. I just bent a little rod. Drilled through from the top and the bottom and just wiggle it down in there. Goes right in. Plug clamp fall out now. Works really well. Coming around this side, we have our sewer hookups down here for draining. The gray water and the black water. Gray water's always small one. Black water's your big guy. So we put a light here too, again, for at nighttime. If you have to work on this or the jacks or anything, and hooked it up that way. We put the furnace right here is underneath the fridge on the inside, and we also put with the fridge, if Sandy will shoot up in there, they're ventilated this way. We learned from the RV shops as well as insurance places, the main place or the main cause of RVs to burn up is because the bugs go after the smell of propane, and so they get inside the burner of the fridge or the furnace, and they're, you know, they die in there, and then they're flammable. They're like leaves, sort of. And so we inside of this cover, if I was to take it off, we put that no-seam screen in there, and that can't, the bugs can't get in here now to get into the fridge at all. And we put finer screen on the two furnace vents. I've seen one of these in an RV video. A bird went through here, went inside the furnace vent, and had chicks in there. Before the people went camping, they heard and seen the bird going in and out, and they had to take it all apart to get these little chicks out of there. So here's our power outlet. I think we have 25 or 30 feet of the heavy cord in there. I just plugged into it here just for the interim here right now. But this compartment again is the box we built around that cord to hold it is all insulated to keep this would go in underneath the kitchen counter, and that keeps it plenty warm in there, doesn't let it in. The hood range vent, of course, it's no seam screen on it, and it has two flaps, one on the vent, on the hood range itself, and a secondary one on this cover. So it's very hard to get bugs in there, and yet when the fan turns on, they open up just quick as a whip. Up on top, we have our fridge vent there to let the heat out from the fridge as it's running. And we noticed flies got in there in the 2 months we were in here camping. A couple flies showing up in the camper, and we're like, they didn't come in through the door. And we noticed they came in around the fridge. They went up there, and the screens on those are 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch holes. And so we put no seam screen on that, and that ended the flies getting into the camper at all. So that stopped those guys from getting in. Right here, I don't have it out right now, but we put a house thermometer here. Another level site. We have our city water hookup here, and then we have a light here for those guys too. And then this one here is just where you put the garden hose in just to fill it, not for pressurized water. This one's just for filling the holding tank on the inside. Again, we have the house windows with the no seam screen. There is a solar panel on the roof. I am not aware of what the wattage of it is. Whatever it was working. It still works great. So it's like a trickle charger on the battery. Keeps it going all the time. We also put the big Max Air covers over both fans up there. The fantastic fan in the kitchen and the bathroom vent fan, just to protect them from snow and ice and sun mainly. I don't mind if it wears out. You know, it was inexpensive as compared to the fan wearing out. As well as in the shower, there's a skylight in the shower. And when we redid it, we put the outer shell on, and then you could buy an inner shell that's frosted white. What we wanted it for also is for 2 layers of skylight to keep the insulation factor of a dead airspace there, to keep our camper warmer in the winter. And then if we have to, we built a styrofoam insert to put into that of that R8.5 again foam. Again, the last cubby here, and the same thing, it has a little light here on the inside. Where is it? Right there. And that storage bin there holds our firewood and stuff like that for our little wood stove inside. So it works really well. Keeps things nice. The lights are really nice. You don't see them that well right now, but of course you can imagine at nighttime they're a blessing. You can see very good. So on the camper build itself, the studs were there. On the inner part of the stud, it's just the wallboard glued on, and in the build pictures you will see the back of the wallboard might have been black, had this shiny surface on it, so we took the belt sander to it and roughed it up, and then it's PL premium right onto the studs. It is on there glued and then stapled after that. Then the rigid foam is between all the studs, and that is set in there, and then we spray foamed around any possible crack that a mosquito could have got through for that, just to seal it up really good. And then on the outside, the tin just goes on next. Just that lets it breathe in behind, and the tin just goes straight onto the studs, and that seals it up. And then of course we sealed it and sealed it and sealed it on every joint. The roof had the wallboard go up for the ceiling, 2-inch insulation, the R8.47. Then the batting above that where it would fit, and then that had 1/4 inch plywood put onto the roof in the end. Then the aluminum roofing, it had a rubber roof. We talked to an RV shop that is ICBC accredited, but they repair and build many RVs, and we talked direct with their foreman, and he said the easiest way is go with tin on the siding and aluminum roof. Even he has a rubberized roof, and he said if you're camping, a little stick will fall out of a tree. Say we're parked here, the little stick comes down, hits that rubber roof, it'll poke a pinhole in it and it'll start to leak, and you won't recognize it and realize it. He said his has had a hole in it 3 or 4 times, but he works at the RV shop and he can quickly patch it. That costs you or I money. We don't work in RV shops. He said aluminum roof, the old aluminum roofs, one piece, foolproof. Just bulletproof as in comparison. So we went with the expensive aluminum roof, and then we put the tin on the siding, and he said this is because if you ever have damage or you had to work on something, you can take the bottom sheet off, then this sheet, work on your damaged area, put the sheets back on, and you're back in business. With the old one-piece skin on the side, we couldn't do it before. So that gives you a nutshell of the walk around. Hope you enjoyed it. And the weight. We were very interested about the weight of the RV when we built it. When we took it apart, it was 7,700 pounds, and I believe it said with the propane tanks full and the water tank full. So we filled the new 30-pounders, and we filled the water tank, and we went to a neighbor who has a big scales, and we weighed it in. We weren't sure what it would be. I was actually kind of nervous, hoping to keep it down, but I reinforced everything so much I thought it would be way higher, and I was a little scared. It wound up being 5,854 pounds, I think it was. And that's with, we cut almost a ton of weight off of this thing. Keep in mind, we took the air conditioner off, and that took out a little bit of electrical wire. But the main weight on these things is the chipboard that they build them with. This is all plywood in here or pine. The chipboard is super heavy. The countertops weighed a ton, just a ton. So we took out the dinette, and the dinette table was all chipboard. The countertops were chipboard. The bathroom counter was chipboard. The floor was chipboard. The weight was huge just using that chipboard. And the problem with chipboard is if it gets water on it, it just falls apart. Plywood at least is quite residual in comparison. So, thank you for having a look at it.
Welcome to the RV bedroom. We would just like to start off with the closets. We were able to salvage the doors from the old camper, but we just have open storage in here for hanging. And above the bed, we chose to have baskets. There used to be, in the original design, there used to be a cupboard across here. And also, the front of the camper was a bit of an angle. And we decided to make the trailer at the front square for many reasons. First of all, it was easier to build. And second is we had more room for storage up here. With the camper on an angle, it really tightened up the space that could be used. So it's also easier to get your baskets down rather than having to climb on the bed to get up into a cupboard. And so this way we can just pull them down and utilize them. So Barney has these two and I have the other two. And so that's basically our dresser drawers. That's what we're using them for. And the bed itself is just a standard double bed. We just thought that was easiest for us to get a mattress that way. So that's pretty straightforward. The wallboard, you're going to notice, we just love it. It is actually, often people ask us what it is, and it's just what I just said. It's just straight wallboard. And we just love the warm cabiny feel, and that's what we wanted the whole interior to be, was very warm, very much like a cabin, and very much have a feel of a house. So I just want to show you these really cool little cubbies that we have. Just going to tuck these pillows out of the way. But these tops come right off and slide out. And down in here you have, this is on top of the outside storage cubby, and so this was going to be just wasted space if we were to mount these down tight, and we didn't want that. So this is a good place. I love books, so it's a very good place for book storage, and it's quite easy sometimes to get on and off. There, that's all up to it. In the kitchen, there's an awkward space in the corner that was very difficult to have access to from the kitchen side. So rather than box that off and make it not available to us, we made an access door in the bedroom area. So we just put a little shelf here for extra storage. It goes quite tall. And then under here is the freshwater access. And so that goes to the outside where you fill the fresh water. And this we have access to. The screws make it easy to get underneath. So if we have any problems with the fresh water, we can have access to that. So here we have the Cubic Mini Grizzly, and it is such a fun little wood stove. We really enjoy it. We have all the firewood for it is kept just down here in this little pocket, and so we just pull that out. And then we have here a second basket of firewood. So this one here is just the little ends. They tend to burn really quickly, but when we did some, I'm going to call it real firewood, actually trees, and we cut them down, we can fill this right full. I don't think it's still showing full right now, but it was, we just kind of stacked them in there right to the roof of the wood stove, and we will get probably 2 to 3 hours out of that, and it is really ideal. It actually cooks us out of here, and we like it warm, so it works out really, really well. But that's a really nice feature. We just have the little eco fan that most people get, and that actually is all this little wood stove needs for this tiny space. Right as you come in through the main entryway, we have our closet. It's more like a little school locker. That's about the size of it, but it does hold 3 jackets. We have the hooks there, and we also have boot storage for here and here for our hiking boots, runners, or sandals. They work really well. We also have over here an area for tall footwear, like tall boots and stuff, like the rubber boots or whatever for going when we need to have that storage. And here we just put a little basket, and it holds our mitts and gloves, or work gloves if we're here in the summertime. And then on top of that, we just have made a little end table. So when you walk in, you've got immediate place for your storage. Under here, we also store the utensils for the wood stove, the broom and the little shovel and the little poker. And this, I can't reach the tops of inside my cupboards, and this little stool is just stored right here, folding stool, and that's where it goes, and it stays there. And so that's the entryway when you first come in. That's how we've utilized that little bit of space. And just up here, we have our stereo. We opted to not have a TV at all in here, but we did want to keep a CD player.
Here in the utility cupboard, where the garbage can and stuff sits, water jug, our drinking water, we just simply take out the base floor, slides out of there, and we have our water pump exposed now with a filter, pre-filter on it coming out of our holding tank right there. And we have all our junctions and taps for, like this one's for putting in the winter antifreeze into the lines, which it's full of right now. And then again, over there is where the city water comes in, or pressurized water off somebody's house, whichever. Down here is a little drain line. Tank drain comes out of the tank, runs across and down through the floor. And it's all a nice little clean system in there. We like to have that heat duct run through there. It's easily to move around, but it helps keep this cabinet super warm. So, works out very well. Very simply set up. Oh, this line here, if Sandy wanted to just come down and show the top of that, that is for our 20-liter pail of water, drinking water. This goes in, clips in. And if you look here, all I did was I took a little T and a little piece of tiny plastic, drilled a hole through the lid. It snaps on, it's airtight, it's bug tight, and this here is just a vent. So as we're drawing the water up to the tap up above, it allows air into the jug so it doesn't suck the sides of the jug in. Now, this is how we assemble it. It's quite quick. Floor just slips in there. You hold these 2 pieces up and the floor goes in, down in there. That strap holds our jug once it's in. The jug can be full and changed at any time. You just slip that down like so. Clip the lid on, which I'm not going to right at this second. Push it to the back. Tie the strap in, which holds it there. Tighten it up, and then we just shut the light off. Just a little battery operated light in there. Works great.
Just wanted to show you also our fantastic fan. It's just here, and when we turn that on, we have it as a ceiling fan for when the wood stove is going. It's a little bit noisy, but that's as loud unless we turn it up more. But that keeps the air circulating, especially to the bedroom and to the bathroom, and it just brings all that air down so that your feet are nice and warm too. So let's take a look at the kitchen. The kitchen design was ideally done so that we could live in here and have lots of counter space. The counter itself is wood. It is pine. You can buy these big slabs at most local hardware stores, but we just put I think 4 coats of stain on it and 4 coats of varathane, and you know what? It is beautiful, and I absolutely love it. What we do, or what I do when I'm working with it, is I have these, you can just get these from the Dollar Tree, and they're just chopping mats. You get 2 for $1.50, but I just plunk them down on my counter when I'm using bowls or anything, so that it just protects the finish from getting scratched, because it isn't arborite, it's wood. But it was so much lighter than the arborite counters, and we also wanted that warm cabiny feel again, so we wanted to bring wood in here, and that was one place that I felt that I could work with it and also maintain it and keep it nice. So on the original design of the camper that we took apart, the holding tanks, I mentioned this is still, the freshwater holding tank is down here. And so that had to be kept where it was because we did not want to mess with the weight and balance of the trailer. So we worked with that and made the L-shape counters. But it just helped us to utilize this space so well. And so Barney, I asked him to build me a pantry, and I gave him a picture of what I liked, if he could please do it. And we had to go on a bit of a hunt, and he did a really wonderful job on this door. He had to find another RV door that was bigger because we couldn't find one the right size, and so he cut it down this way, and he also had to shorten it this way. And between his construction and my paint, I think we did a really good job of making it look like it belongs there. So we're really happy with our pantry, and it actually holds a lot of stuff, and I really can't wait to show you what it's like full too. This little shelf, we got it at a yard sale, and it was a different color. And so I just refinished it and asked Barn to put it up just because I want to have something pretty in my kitchen, and the RV does not allow for pretty stuff really. There's not enough space for that. And so that's all this is designed for, is just to hold my clock and my candle, and that's all. But under here, there's plenty of room for my canisters, which again I will show you in the future. Anyway, our sink is the original sink that was here. We put in regular house taps for that, and it's a bit of an adjustment, but it comes out, the tap comes out, and of course changes from solid water to a shower. I'm sure most of you have seen those already. And over here, Barney showed you the fresh water tank. Well, the hose comes up here, and it's a hand pump. It's not hooked up right now, but it's just our fresh drinking water, so that if we have, city water, this here will always be our drinking water, and we know that we'll be happy with that. And then the stove, it was the 3-burner stove that was originally here, and it was in such really fabulous condition. I think I've added more wear to it than what was on it previously, but it was just like brand new, and we just wanted to reuse that. We didn't see any reason why not to use that. And same with the fan here. Over here we have all of our holding tanks and the battery showing whether they're full or needing emptying. So that is really a helpful little tool to have as well. And then the hot water heater, it tells us on or if it needs to be reset or anything. And then we have our plug here, our 110 plug, and then we put a 110 plug right over here as well. There's just the insides of the cupboards. Right now they're mostly empty. That's the pantry cupboard right there. And the drawers are pretty typical RV drawers, but this is under the sink. We just tried to utilize storage everywhere we could. And then this is the water cabinet. It also houses a garbage can and some cleaning stuff. And then this is where I keep a lot of my cookware when we're staying in here. It's a really nice, really big cupboard. And then my pot holders hang on the door. And up here is where I store my pots. And then on this side over here is, I'm going to call it our living room. And very straightforward. This is where we sit and eat. We have our table set up. And then, of course, all the upper cupboards. Those are original. We just painted them and strengthened them. We did that with all the cupboards. They were all, Barney re-strengthened them. And I sanded and painted and mudded them and everything that needed to be done that way. Just wanted to show you where we store our table, and it is right here. Barney made a little divide in the cupboard, and then there's a very tight squeeze, very tight fit, but they're just sort of TV trays, and then we just set them up, and then they go right there. And we also utilized underneath the couch for storage under there. We wanted to utilize that space, and so we made basket storage, and it just houses a bunch of just extra storage for when we're staying in here. And this far right one here, there's also, you can't see it, but there's another basket back there for things we don't use very often. So, and this is what it looks like when they're all tucked into their spot. They're super easy to get. The couch also turns into a spare bed. It's kind of called a jackknife bed. But what's really nice about this is it would hold two children or one adult, but there's plenty of walking space around it to the bathroom when it's down. So it's super handy. We have a lot of room around the couch area, especially for just the two of us. Also in the main living area down here at the floor, we have our fuse panel, and then over here is the gas detector, and then up above is the panel for the solar panel that's on top of the roof. And then also our ducting. We put 3 ducts, one in the bedroom, one in the living room area, and then one in the bathroom. And so those 3 really warm up the place really, really well. And down here also is the furnace. Just behind this panel here is the furnace. And then up above this was dead space, so it's one of those areas I keep all my plastic cups and paper plates and stuff like that up there for when we're outside eating. But it's just a good way to utilize that dead storage again. Also, I forgot to mention, the fridge is insulated on all 3 sides of it, actually 4 sides of it. And that has been a really big help too, because when the cold comes in, when it's really chilly out there, we wanted to try and make sure that we covered all our bases to keep everything that had access to the outside, that cold air, to keep it out. But I wanted to show you our bathroom, and to start with, I wanted it to look like an outhouse door. And so this is basically just wallpaper that I cut sideways, and just kind of cut out pieces and then just stuck it on. It's peel and stick, so if I don't like it down the road, it can just come off. And then just added a stencil onto it. So welcome into our bathroom. So in the bathroom, we added a really nice shower install. It's actually a house shower stall. The bathtub is the original one that was here, and these are the only original RV taps that we did keep, because we couldn't squeeze in the other house taps. We tried to, and we just love this. This has got a really strong magnet on it, and it just comes off or pops right back on. So it's really nice when you're cleaning the shower or just even rinsing off, because you have such a limited amount of water in an RV that it's really handy to just do a quick rinse that way. And we got this little cabinet at the thrift store, and Barney, I asked him to make me some organizer on the inside, and he did a really nice job. So I painted and he did the construction on it. We paid $12 for it, but in the end, by the time we got the $60 mirror added and the 2 days of construction on it, anyway, it's far more expensive than we intended it to be, but we really like it. It's really cute, and it fits the area of this bathroom really, really nicely. For the bathroom sink, we did add house taps to here. This is the original sink, but the taps and the drain are our house, and Barney put PEX all through the whole RV, and so that has made it really nice as well. And then the counter is the same as the kitchen counter. It is just the same pine board with the same finish on it. So inside over here, we needed an organizer for in this cabinet, and I wanted a wood one originally, but we both decided that it would be too heavy. So we got one of these little portable ones, and they're actually quite sturdy, and I put all my linen in there, and it works really well. This basket is for dirty clothes, and then this is for our outside coats, and I also keep the broom and dustpan and just any of my utilities type of stuff, cleaners and that kind of thing, for the bathroom in here. But it's been really handy, and I use this closet a lot. Just kept the regular RV toilet in here, and I just made this little shelf to hang our towels on, and then we have a little plug for in the bathroom as well. And then above, these are called chandelier lights. We just got these at the RV store, and we actually really quite like it, but it was a little too blue, and so we put the yellow bulb in and kept them both in. It just gives a really nice combination of the two, and so we're quite happy with that. Plus there's the fan up there. So that's the bathroom.
Hello everybody, I'm Barney.
And I'm Sandy.
We hope you enjoyed our camper build, the video of it, the walkthrough. Later on, actually, I think Sandy wants to do a walkthrough once we are back in it this spring, and she is set up.
Yes. With
all of her baking, cooking, our clothing, everything's packed in here, and we'll be on our next project at that time, which we'll share with you.
So our next project that we wanted to share with you is we bought 40 acres in northern BC that is off-grid.
A mile away from the nearest power line pretty well, and the cost was way too high. And besides that, we wanted for years to be off-grid, as we might have mentioned earlier, but that's what we're striving for, so we're going for it now here.
It was the cost of the to get hydro or electricity to the property. That's what was really expensive.
Yeah, that was the final push to go off-grid.
It was. Yeah, it was. Anyway,
we want to go off-grid anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, the property is, as Sandy mentioned, 40 acres, but it's bush, and so it's not a fixer-upper property. It is a develop it, set it up property where we have to do everything right from the laneway in.
Yeah.
And so we have been working on that a bit, hon?
We have. Yeah, we've got the driveway in now. We've got a lot of clearing done, a lot of the brush piles burned. We want to share with it. We've been tree transplanting. The winter has been so mild this year.
That's a test program.
Yeah, that's a test. So anyway, God bless you all. Thank you for watching, and we hope you join us on our journey.
Come back and see us at Barney and Homestead.